Hi, Julie Powell here again. I'm going to have a little bit more of a deep dive into using the People Select tool that is now available in Lightroom Classic. I previously did sort of an overview of all the updates to the masking tool, but I thought I would come back and do a little more of a deep dive just on the People Select because it is new. It is slightly different to some of the other ones. There's some new features that have been updated and things like that in the masking tool. So if you click on the little circle over here, once you've selected the image you want to work on, and that brings up the masking panel. Now, if you just give it a second, it's got your subject and sky and background select and all the rest of it. But down here, it's got your people select. So down here, it's got your people select, and it's actually selected both people. So you can work on them individually. If you hover over that person, their mask area will come up. So you can see what needs to be have a little bit of extra attention to, like the arm needs to be removed because that's actually person one's arm. So just a little bit of things that need to be fixed up, but that's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to click on person 2 and I'm going to work on them. Now it's going to come up with the entire person, which is fine. I want that. So I'm going to create a mask, and it is going to create a mask that will pop up here. So to be able to see what's in my mask and what's not in my mask, I'm going to turn it back on, and I am going to come through and I'm going to subtract from that mask because I want to remove a few objects. So I could use the object, but I'm just going to go in and use the brush tool for the moment. Her hair is obviously not wanting to be in part of that mask. Okay, so her hair is all been fixed up. I do need to remove this arm because that belongs to person 1, not person 2. So I can go through with the brush, or we can actually try the objects, and we can just brush over the area that we want to remove and just give Lightroom a minute to just detect it. And it's actually done a pretty good job of removing it. There's just a few bits here, so I'm just going to come back in with the brush and I'm just going to remove those little bits because we don't want that in the mask. Now we also want to add some, so I'm going to click add, and I am going to, let's try the brush again, sorry, the object again. So I'm just going to try and get his pants and top in the shot. Again, let's just give Lightroom a minute to detect that. And it's got most of it in, but I'm just going to go in just with the brush and get the last few bits that it hasn't quite got. Okay, so I've got my person 1 mask, and if you click on that, it just has the mask as a whole, not all the other extra bits that go with it. I have missed a little bit down here, so I could come back in and select it. But if I want to go back in and I want to select person 1, so I just click on new, go to new mask, click on person 1, and it will also select them as well. I just want the entire person at this point in time, and I'm going to go create mask. So if we have a look at what's in our mask, we see that there's some areas that do need to be fixed. So I'm just going to click on mask 2. I'm going to go subtract because initially we don't want his pants in this because they are not part of person 1 at all. So I'm just going to remove those. So the object mask is quite quick and easy. The AI does pick up things. It's not always perfect, so sometimes you do have to go in with the brush, I find, and just get any of the little bits that the object missed. Okay, so now I want to add to my mask, so I'm going to click add, and I'm going to just go in with the brush, and I'm just going to zoom over the areas that need to be added in. Just keep adding in bits that it may have missed, and you can toggle between the object selection and the brush. Sometimes I feel that one does a better job than the other. And you can be quite precise in your selections. It's up to you how fussy you want to be. But once you've got the idea of what you can do here, I sometimes find that the using the objects can get really good definition, as opposed to using the brush, but you've just got to go backwards and forwards. So I've now got subject 1 and subject 2 masks on, so I can come in, you can turn that off, just remember which one, and you can rename them. So if you come in here and go person 1, or that's actually person 2, and this one is person 1, you can give them a name if obviously if they've got a name. So you can come in and you can play around with it. So if you want to reduce the or increase the highlights, and I'm going to try and do this quite over the top so that you can sort of see what I'm playing with. So you can increase your exposure, you can increase your highlights, you can edit each of them individually. So that's always a great thing to be able to do. The other thing that you can do, if you go into your masks, if you click on new, and I'm going to go into select people, and I am going to go into, say, person 2 again, and instead of selecting the entire person, you can actually select their hair or their teeth or their lips, and you can do masks just for that particular area. So say I want one for teeth, I can click on that, and I will then come up with a mask for person 2's teeth. Now it's quite handy to be able to mark them and rename them so that you know which way you're going. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to, once you start editing, the mask will come off, so it's sort of a thing. So I can increase it, I can bring down the blues a little bit so the teeth aren't quite so I'm just going to zoom in there so the teeth aren't quite so yellow, and I can play around, I can increase the whites and do things like that. So you can actually come in and you can do them individually, which is super handy to be able to do that. So if you want to, obviously I've gone too far there, but I just wanted you to be able to see what I was doing. And if you want to turn that particular mask on and off, you can just press the little eyeball there, and you can see what it was like with the mask turned off, and then you can turn the mask back on again and see the changes that you have made. If you want to, you can come in, create a new mask, click on people. Now, you might think this is a slightly roundabout way of doing things, and it is a little bit, but it's actually quite quick and easy to do it this way. So you can go through and you can select the individual things that you want to do. So, you know, their lips, their hair, their teeth, eyebrows. You can go in and do, you know, skin softening and things like that to individual areas. So it's actually quite quick to be able to do that. So you can play around if you wanted to maybe make the eyes bluer. I'll just zoom in so you can see what I'm doing here. So I can make the eyes, for instance, bluer, I can brighten them up a little bit. Maybe I want to make the eyes green. So you can, I mean, as you can see, I've gone overboard, but I just wanted you to be able to see what you can do. So you can play around. I've given him aqua eyes now, which, or yellow eyes. So you can really play around and you can adjust and you can hone in exactly what you want to do to the area that you want to do it in, and you can jump between, and it doesn't matter whether you've got one person, two people, four people. You can do a whole group of people and you can edit them as a group or you can edit them individually. So I think that's pretty much it that I've covered in this section. So you can edit them as a whole. You can go in and you can change your masks. You can move things around, you can add, you can subtract, and then of course you can break it down into individual things. So hair, teeth, eyes, lips, etc. So I hope that gives you a little bit more of a idea on how to use the new people masking tool. I think it's an exciting new addition to Lightroom, especially if you're doing portraits. There are some other things that have been added along the way, but I just wanted to jump in and show you the basics of how to use the people select masking tool. Thanks for watching.